Hey everyone. I wanted to talk today about friendship and intimacy because often we don't associate those two things together, right? We think of intimacy as something that we enjoy with our significant other or our partner. But really, intimacy can be expressed in many ways. It doesn't have to just be with your partner. You know what I mean? Like, it can be with your friends, and it can be a deeper relationship sometimes than our own romantic partnerships, our romantic relationships. And I wanted to touch on this today in talk two of my inspirational talk series because I don't think it's something that we consider. And I want to encourage it more. And when I think about my own life and my own friendships, I grew up thinking that there were just certain things that, like, were reserved for your partner. Like, I didn't know that you could be affectionate towards your friends, but I think that is very important to express yourself to your friends, to share love with your friends, to give hugs to your friends. And that kind of love energy is just as important as any other expression of love. But I think I saw this quote, and it said that we often are willing to fight for our romantic relationships, but we're not willing to give that same kind of energy to fight for our friendships. And that hit me hard, because, in a good way, because I don't think that we think the same way about romantic relationships that we do as with friendships. Friendships can truly be these long-lasting relationships where we share everything with that person, right? We laugh together, we grow up together, or we go through a very traumatic or challenging experience together. There are so many things that you can go through with a friend that are vital to your life and to your personal development, that you also can go through with someone that you're, in a romantic relationship with. But I think the thing about friendship is there's no sex involved, you know? And because there's no sex involved, I mean, not in every, I don't know. You may have different kinds of friendships. I don't know. But because there's no sex involved, right? It's like you're forced to have a different kind of closeness, right? One that is about sharing feelings, sharing stories, sharing emotions, sharing a bond, sharing a sisterhood, a brotherhood, with that person. And that can be deeper than anything you've ever experienced before. And during this time where we are talking virtually as opposed to meeting up with each other, there's a lot to be said about conversation, right? And the intimacy and the intimate aspect of having a good conversation. When you have a good conversation with someone, you really connect with them on a deeper level. And that is so important. So, in thinking about friendships, really, I would encourage you, and this is something that I'm thinking about today. How are you connecting with your friends? You know, is it writing letters back and forth right now during this time? Is it calling each other? Is it FaceTiming each other? Is it Zoom calling each other? How are you connecting with your friends? I think that's really important to give attention to. And then the second thing I would encourage you to think about, and I'm thinking about as well, is how are you showing your affection to your friends? You know, like, do you tell your friends that you love them? You know, like, I love you. Is that hard for you? Why is that hard for you? You know, are you hugging and loving on your friends? I saw this video um, just about what people have been doing during this time where we've been indoors. And these two friends were washing each other's hair. And I thought about it and I was like, wow, you know, that's a very simple thing, but it's also a very intimate thing, because hair in itself is very spiritual. And whomever you let touch your hair, right, is involved in that spiritual connection. And maybe when you were a kid, you know, your mom would, or your dad, or your guardian would wash your hair. And when you get older, you know, maybe that becomes sort of like an intimate exchange. And so I want you to think about, in your life, what are the things, what are the ways that you are expressing affection to your friends? You know, just telling them how much they mean to you. That really matters. And not every form of intimacy has to be romantic. You know, it can be just sharing something personal about yourself to connect with someone else. It can be being clear about and sharing with someone what they mean to you. These are just thoughts that are coming to me that I feel happy to share with all of you. So yeah, think about that today. How am I building my intimacy with my friends? How do I express my love to my friends? You know, and for those of you who may feel like, you know, it's hard to make new friends, especially during this time, right? It's hard to make new friends, or it's hard to keep friends, or feeling like you're in toxic friendships. It's also important to think about how you are befriending yourself, right? Because when you're growing up, when you're a little kid, you are your first friend. You are your first intimate relationship, getting to know yourself, hearing your voice, seeing yourself in the mirror. That's your first connection, your connection with self. So a lot of the hesitation that we might have towards connecting with other people or expressing ourselves to other people, that may come very easily when it happens romantically, may be a different thing, a different situation when it's about friends, right? So like when we're in a romantic relationship, we might be able to give our all to that person because we say, oh, I love this person. But I think what I often think about is like, where's the disconnect in terms of friendships or someone that you have a very close relationship with? What's the difference between that? And why are we willing to devote a lot of energy to one relationship and not the other? So these are just thoughts. You know, personally, I I don't I haven't had many close friendships for a while now. My partner and I are like best friends, but I found that the older that I've gotten, the harder it has become to make new friends and to build real relationships. And because of that, I'm really working on asking myself what I need to do to better connect, and what I may be hindered by or afraid of or worried about. You know, sometimes we carry wounds from our past where we think, well, I put myself out there before. I don't want to put myself out there again because I might, get hurt. Just like we do with romantic relationships. That happens with friendships too. And so for me, now being in my mid-30s, it's important to think about building relationships and being comfortable enough with myself to be able to build relationships with others. And a friendship, it takes a lot of work. And sometimes I think, am I able to give that kind of energy and attention to someone right now? Do you know what I mean? So being an adult making friends is a totally different scenario, especially now, because a lot of things are online. But I would encourage you to really think about your relationship with your friends, your relationship with yourself, how kind you are with yourself. Do you have boundaries in terms of what you accept about how you are going to treat and show affection to yourself? Because that kind of puts boundaries on how we treat and show affection to others. So those are just some thoughts for today's inspirational talk. I hope that there was something positive, that you got some nugget, some gem that you got from this talk. I'm challenging myself to do as many talks as I can on the road to 35. My 35th birthday is on June 21st. So sending you lots of love. Be thinking about that intimacy and friendship. And I'll see you in the next video. And if you would like to share your thoughts, I'd love to hear from you. You can comment under the video. Okay? Lots of love. Bye. Have a beautiful day. Peace and joy and love.